Coming up on Eyewitness News, a former Harvard law professor is the president's surprise choice for the U.S. Supreme Court nomination. And a controversial rules change that could help the Seabrook nuclear power plant go online gets the okay from the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. These stories next on the Evening Edition.
Live from WBZ-TV 4. This is Eyewitness News Evening Edition.
Good evening. Tonight, a powerful boost for the Seabrook nuclear power plant and a blow to Seabrook opponents.
The Nuclear Regulatory Commission today quickly approved a controversial rules change regarding evacuation plans. From Washington, Eyewitness newsman Hampton Pearson reports on the vote and what it means.
An NRC-approved emergency plan is the last major roadblock to an operating license for the $5 billion Seabrook nuclear power plant. As you might imagine, the reaction here and the controversy here in Washington is far from over. Late this afternoon, Senator Edward Kennedy's office released a statement that said, in part, in responding to today's NRC ruling, it is, quote, another irresponsible step in this irresponsible scheme to license the Seabrook plant. I'm Hampton Pearson reporting live in Washington. Back to you, Jack and Liz.
Hampton, thank you.
Today's vote is a major defeat for Governor Michael Dukakis and Attorney General James Shannon, who refused to participate in the drawing of the Seabrook evacuation plans.
Eyewitness newsman John Henning joins us from the State House now with reaction on the decision from this side of the New Hampshire border. John?
Well, Jack, we had to wait for reaction for a while. Attorney General Shannon had scheduled a 3 o'clock news conference and then called it off because his office said they weren't exactly sure what the NRC voted on and the NRC wasn't telling them. Governor Dukakis was campaigning in Texas today, and just about 15 minutes ago his office handed us a statement, a rather strong statement from the governor. The governor said that it was inconceivable that a public agency would let the industry that it purports to regulate draw up the evacuation plans or have anything to do with them. And the governor says he's going to consult with Attorney General Shannon to find out how to move towards these court proceedings. So it is going to federal court. I talked to Barbara Hilt, the state representative from Amesbury, who represents one of the communities affected by the evacuation plan. She says this is a minor victory for the utilities, but she thinks federal court is the place for it to go. And of course, Jack and Liz, the Shoreham plant on Long Island, New York is also affected by this ruling. Attorney General Shannon told me he's going to be in touch with New York authorities so they can go in this together through probably a law firm in Washington that New York has hired. But federal court right now is apparently where the next round of this long battle is going to be fought.
Okay, John. Thanks.
Well, today's NRC decision certainly hits close to home in southeastern New Hampshire and portions of Massachusetts that are all within the 10-mile radius of the Seabrook plant.
Eyewitness News reporter Pam Moore is standing by at the Seabrook plant to get a sampling of reaction. Pam?
Well, Jack and Liz, there is an expected split reaction from the key players in the Seabrook controversy here in the New Hampshire area. Plant officials are pleased about the rule changes. Certain citizens groups are not. And Ed Brown, the president of New Hampshire Yankee, says that the rule change now legitimizes the utilities plan.
The rule change will correct a flaw that exists in the system up until this time.
Most agree the fight is not over, that the new battleground will simply be now the courts. Reporting live from Seabrook, New Hampshire, Pam Moore, TV-4 Eyewitness News. Now back to you, Jack and Liz.
All right, Pam, thanks for that live report.
The other top story tonight, 6 days after the bitter Senate defeat of Supreme Court nominee Robert Bork, President Reagan has chosen a conservative appeals court judge as his new nominee.
He is Douglas Ginsburg. He's a former Harvard law professor considered the preferred candidate of Attorney General Edwin Meese. In naming Ginsburg, the president praised the judge as a believer in judicial restraint, a judge who is tough on crime and a man who is universally regarded.
By selecting Judge Ginsburg, I've gone the extra mile to ensure a speedy confirmation. I've been impressed by the fact that in academia, in government, and on the bench, Judge Ginsburg has been enormously popular with colleagues of all political persuasions. A word that many have used to describe Douglas Ginsburg is unpretentious. Now that's quite a compliment for a judge.
A young nominee, Douglas Ginsburg, is only 41 years old. He's currently a U.S. Appeals Court judge in the District of Columbia, a post he has held for 1 year. He has served as a law clerk to liberal Supreme Court Justice Thurgood Marshall, an antitrust assistant U.S. attorney under Attorney General Edmund Meese, and he has served as a Harvard University law professor. Eyewitness newsman Dan Ray has reaction to the nomination from some of Ginsburg's former associates at Harvard, where Ginsburg spent nearly a decade.
Judge Douglas Ginsburg.
The word of the Ginsburg appointment leaked out in early afternoon. At Harvard Law School, students, faculty, and staff gathered around television sets. Professor Alan Dershowitz watched his former teaching colleague nominated to the High Court
For the position of Associate Justice of the Supreme Court.
All of us in the Harvard Law School just have wonderfully open and warm feelings about Doug, and we're very, very pleased it happened. I mean, as he walked out with President Reagan, we were saying, you know, he's that guy up there with Ginsburg.
Dershowitz, an early critic of the Bork nomination, believes Ginsburg is an eminently acceptable nominee.
We're talking about a Reagan nominee, and for a Reagan nominee, he's certainly a lot better than what I expected. I mean, I always have to be cautious. When I'm on the same side as Jesse Helms, Ed Meese, and Strom Thurmond, I have to believe one of us is wrong. I think in this case they're wrong and I'm right.
Philosophically, Judge Robert Bork and Judge Douglas Ginsburg may seem close, but those at Harvard Law School who know Ginsburg best stress their former colleague is more libertarian on issues of personal consequence. Either way, this 41-year-old Reagan nominee, if confirmed, could sit on the High Court through the first 3 decades of the 21st century. Jack and Liz.
Okay, Dan, thanks.
Senator Edward Kennedy, one of the leaders of the Bork battle, was on the Senate floor late this afternoon sounding a new battle cry.
Judge Ginsburg nomination comes to the Senate with far less known about his views than was the case with Judge Bork. What is most ominous about the nomination at this time is the suggestion that Ed Meese prevailed upon the president with little consideration to name an ideological clone of Judge Bork.
Well, looking back on it all, President Reagan did promise a nominee who would be, quote, as objectionable to the majority of the Senate as Robert Bork.
Joining us live now from Washington, D.C. is Senator Gordon Humphrey, Republican from New Hampshire. Senator Humphrey, thanks for joining us. Your reaction to Judge Ginsburg and this nomination?
Well, initially, Liz, I'm very pleased. I can't say that I know enough about Douglas Ginsburg at this point to firmly take a position. Indeed, I'm determined to keep an open mind until after the hearing. And I think we can do all of that if we commence within a week, such that we can vote on the floor on the nomination one way or the other before we recess at about Thanksgiving time.
Okay, Senator Humphrey, it sounds like you're being paged. Thank you very much for joining us this evening.
All right, Senator, thank you. The Senate Judiciary Committee did finish some other confirmation business today. It approved President Reagan's nomination of Frank McNamara as U.S. Attorney for Massachusetts. McNamara was acting U.S. Attorney for 8 months while questions about fundraising for his 82 congressional bid were resolved. The full Senate is expected to take up the McNamara confirmation very shortly. Well, Boston skyline will be changing in just a few moments when the landmark Custom House Tower gets its lights turned on for the first time in its 72-year history.
Hundreds of dignitaries and spectators are gathered at Faneuil Hall Marketplace. Eyewitness News reporter Liz Gonzalez is also standing by there, and Liz joins us now live with a report on the lights coming on at the Customs House. Liz, there they are.
Right now you are seeing the grand finale of this laser light show. I'll stop talking and let you guys just enjoy this. An incredible finale. We've been waiting here for almost a half hour. You guys came in just as the good part started. In recent years, you know, the Hancock and the Prue have become familiar landmarks in Boston, but after tonight, there is a new landmark in Boston. It's the Custom House Tower. It's been here for many, many years. In fact, when it was completed in 1915, it was New England's first skyscraper. With Boston a major port of entry, the Custom Tower was a landmark many immigrants remembered. Now the tower is overshadowed by taller, more modern buildings. But after tonight, the historical landmark will be the shining star of Boston's skyline as more than 500 lights shine on the restored building. The tower's clock, which has read the wrong time for at least 10 years, has been restored and refitted with new minute hands. When it was built by the Howard Clock Company of Boston in 1916, it was the largest clock in the country. With new parts to keep it synchronized to the time at the National Bureau of Standards, Bostonians will be able to get the correct time, day or night. Also after tonight, many scenic postcards of Boston's skyline will have to be reshot, as an old face with an updated look changes the skyline and reminds the city of her past. Boston Edison paid for the restoration of the clock and the lighting of the building. If you're concerned about energy, again, they tell us that the amount of energy used to light up the tower is comparable to what is used to light up 2 indoor tennis courts. The lights will be on from sunset to midnight every night of the week, except for Fridays and Saturdays. Then the tower will be lit till 2 a.m. Reporting live from Quincy Marketplace, where a rather historic event just took place, I'm Liz Gonzalez. Back to you, Liz.
Okay, that's a landmark that is well worth preserving. Thank you, Liz. And coming up on the evening edition, a truck driver is dead after his tanker overturns and causes miles of traffic tie-ups along Route 290 in Worcester.
Coming up later in sports news, Cedric Maxwell's return to the Boston Garden, not with the Green, but with the Houston Rockets. Bob Lobel with all of the sports, and he's coming up later.
The westbound lanes of Interstate 290 are still closed outside of Worcester as crews try to remove the remains of a truck that crashed early this morning, killing the driver. The chemical-laden tanker was traveling east when it flipped over onto the other side of the highway shortly before 5 this morning. Environmental officials say none of the chemicals were released from the tankers, but workers spent a good part of the day spreading sand to soak up the truck's fuel. Police have not yet released the name of the driver of the truck. The vehicle was transporting isopropyl and isocyanate from New Jersey to Maine. Traffic authorities hope to have I-290 from the College Square exit to High Avenue open soon. To see what the situation is right now, we're going to check in with Candace Dean of Metro Traffic Control. Candace?
Liz, it's good news tonight. You'll find this section of 290 westbound from Brosnahan Square to College Square open once again. State Police worked all afternoon and finally were able to open at about 5:45 tonight. So traffic westbound moving freely now, eastbound all clear as well. For Eyewitness News, I'm Candace Dean, Metro Traffic Control.
Okay, thank you, Candace. Jack?
In other news tonight, Soviet Foreign Minister Eduard Shevardnadze is on his way to Washington at this hour. His visit will pave the way for a third summit meeting between President Reagan and Soviet leader Gorbachev. A Soviet spokesman said today a treaty to ban intermediate-range nuclear missiles is ready for signing. Earlier today, Wellesley College professor Marshall Goldman told Eyewitness News he's optimistic about the talks. And the Superpower Summit is expected to take place before the end of the year. Turned out to be an absolutely glorious 29th of October today.
Not too bad at all. And extra special for you, I know we don't like to talk about it, but it's Jack's birthday today. So happy birthday to Jack from all of us.
After all of these birthdays, you get sort of used to them, I guess.
Kind of lose count.
A couple of hundred birthdays, you keep going. All right, thanks, Dave.
Dave has a forecast coming up, and later on the evening edition, Joyce looks at the strength of Boston's residence theater companies in her Special 4 report from Broadway to Boston.
Well, a glorious day today, and with any luck, we'll have another good one tomorrow, Dave.
I think we're going to be in good shape, and in fact, much of the weekend now looking good. I think we're going to get the shower activity out of the way first thing Saturday morning, so the trick-or-treaters are going to be in great shape. Perfect October weather on this Thursday, bright blue skies, some puffies in the first quarter moon now shining bright in the western sky this evening. Here's how we look right now. Current temperature 51 degrees, relative humidity is 45% with a dew point of 30 degrees. The winds west-northwest at 15 miles per hour and the barometer 30.04. It's rising. High today 56 degrees, pretty close to normal. That's a cool feel in the low so far 42 degrees. Pretty weather over much of the region. Cool temperatures. You can see lots of 40s across the board. Some clouds though are pushing in. A couple of showers starting to pop up around Albany, New York. If you're going out tonight, you're going to need a sweater or a jacket. Now, those clouds are definitely rolling in a little bit. This is our view from the satellite with the clouds bubbling in from the west. Clouds associated with a little trough of low pressure. It's really not much punch to it, but as the clouds swing by tonight, a few spots, and I really want to stress the word few, could see a quick shower or a passing sprinkle. Then more clear skies move in right behind that, and another system just peeking into the northwest corner will start to affect our weather after that. Now, a little Alberta clipper is moving in. This is the second system that we're watching. Most will see some showers Friday night into Saturday morning, though tomorrow during the day, lots of sunshine, a pretty nice day, a fair share of sunshine. Breezy southwesterly winds will return and typical fall temperatures. Readings much like today, 50s along the coast for the south coast and the eastern sections, 40s as you head to the west and to the north. Here's our forecast on this Thursday night. Partly cloudy skies. Again, there could be a spot sprinkle or a spot shower this evening. Chances are it would be between 8 o'clock tonight and about 11 o'clock tonight, but again, very, very isolated. 35 in the city, in the 20s in the surrounding suburbs. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, some increase in clouds late in the day, breezy, 7 a.m., 40 degrees, noontime 53, 5 p.m., 52 degrees. Tomorrow night, clouds with developing showers and 40 degrees for the low. In our next report, there'll be some signs of Indian summer that are on the horizon.
And that was the Custom Tower,
yes.
Looking splendiferous.
It looks
today.
great out there.
What do we look
tonight,
at
right now?
Went to a live shot just as the lights came on. Was that timing?
Spectacular.
All right, thanks,
It
Dave.
must have had something to do with your birthday.
I hope so.
Of course. It's a good day all the way around, even in sports, Bob Lobel.
Yes, it is. Did you say something about his birthday?
I was leaving you an opening so you could have a joke or something.
I love it because Jack's older than I am.
But you're right behind him now. You don't want to admit that.
Twin Fours on Channel 4, huh, big boy?
Yeah, right.
Twin Fours.
Yes. I was young once. All right. Coming up in sports, somebody that's looking great. That's the Bruins. Also looking great, Alice Cook, standing by live at the Garden. Alice?
Thank you very much, Jack. Well, the Bruins are back home after a long and successful road trip. We'll have a preview coming up in sports.
You're going to start with the Bruins tonight.
Yep, they're back in the Boston Garden.
All right.
Circus is gone, but the memories linger. That's always the way with the circus at the Boston Garden. And those are strong memories, too. 5-game long cross-country road trip for the Bruins, but they're back home tonight against the Quebec Nordiques. And it should be a good game. It always is with Quebec, big rivals. Alice Cook is standing by live now at the Garden. Alice?
Okay, thanks very much, Bob. Well, a couple nice surprises coming out of this road trip, one of them being the performance of Randy Burridge, who is currently the team's second leading goal scorer. I spoke to Burridge a few minutes ago about the importance of getting out to a good start.
When you can get off to a good start on the road, that's even better. You know, it's always nice to get off a good start at home, but when you can do it on the road, you know, that's 100 times better. You know, we like to establish ourselves as a road team, and so far we've done it.
Okay, Doug Keynes and Mario Goslin will be in goal tonight. We'll have highlights on Nightcast. Reporting live from the Boston Garden, I'm Alice Cook. Bobby?
All right, Alice, thank you very much. Also, tonight I might mention to you that the Montreal goaltender Patrick Roy has been suspended for 8 games by the National Hockey League for a slash that he committed earlier this month. So maybe they're really, for the first time, cracking down. The Rams today announced that Eric Dickerson would not play this coming weekend. They say Dickerson is physically and mentally unable to perform. He and the Rams have been fighting out a new contract. And Sparky Anderson of the Detroit Tigers, yes, he has been named the American League Manager of the Year. Big game this Sunday in Foxborough. The Patriots will host the L.A. Raiders. You can see that game right here on Channel 4. Starts at 1 o'clock. Lots of stories down there. For the Patriots, the main story is to win. They'll have to get their non-existent ground game going, and they have some good news in the backfield. Reggie DUPARD, last year's #1 pick, will be activated and will play. He missed most of last season with a toe injury and has not played at all this year. But he's ready, he says, and has been a frustrating experience for him, as you can well imagine, just sitting around.
Well, it's been tough because I'm used to, performing and, participating. And when you're not participating and, not contributing like I used to, it's going to be tough.
Thomas Hearns goes to the history books tonight. If Hearns beats Juan Roldan and wins the WBC middleweight title, he'll become the first fighter ever to win 4 separate championships in different weight classes. At today's weigh-in, Hitman 159.5. Hearns a 2-1 favorite. Roldan has not fought in 18 months. He was 159. Roldan is the only fighter to ever knock down Marvin Hagler. But the big story tonight is Hearns. He has won the welterweight, junior middleweight, and light heavyweight titles in his career. All right, finally tonight, a little trivia question for you. What do JoJo White, John Havlicek, Larry Bird, and Cedric Maxwell have in common? Well, all four have won MVP player awards in the playoffs. Max was in town last night with the Houston Rockets, and as Bob Newmeyer found out, his days with the Boston Celtics have not been forgotten.
The late songwriter Harry Chapin once described his life simply as a circle. Well, that also might be said for Cedric Maxwell and Bill Fitch. Remember?
We gotta walk out that door and pick up a trophy. So let's go, boys. Let's go get it. Let's go get it, baby.
It was May of 1981, glory days for Cedric Maxwell. He won the most valuable player trophy in the playoffs that year, times he will forever cherish.
It's really hard to believe. I remember coming here as a scared rookie, coming here playing my first game and playing with guys like Havlicek and Cowens and JoJo White and so on and so forth. And now to be here in Houston with Bill Fitch and back now playing in the Boston Garden, it's really deja vu again.
Maxwell also played a major role in the 1984 championship victory against the Lakers. But that's about the time the hearts began breaking and the flowers began wilting. A contract hassle, an injury, and a dispute over rehabilitation created a hornet's nest full of problems between Maxwell, the Celtics, and the fans. Before long, he was dispatched to NBA Siberia, the Los Angeles Clippers, his personal integrity questioned by fans and management.
I played for a great organization playing for the Celtics, and I'm not going to turn around and browbeat them now. And I think it was unfortunate the way they treated me at the end. But I think the way people looked at it, I think that they understood the situation. I walked away from it with my head up and continued on with my career and playing now and doing well.
Number 18 is Cedric Maxwell is the Rockets lineup.
Now he's back with Bill Fitch, completing his circle. He only played 5 minutes last night, but this was a time for rookies and free agents, not a time for veterans with roles clearly defined.
I think the guys learned a lot about me last year. I was able to score in key situations for us. I played well in the playoffs last year, and it was a very positive thing. So coming from last year's experience to this year's experience, I think that they've learned that I can be counted on when things are on the line, and it's very positive for me right now.
They say that time heals all wounds, and last night Celts fans greeted Max politely, forgetting perhaps all the bitterness of his final days in Celtic green. Which is a blessing, for let us not forget, he gave his heart and his soul to 2 championship flags that still hang from garden rafters.
Sweet it is, boys.
Bob Newmeyer, TV-4 Sports.
All right, Newman, that's a great story. One of the great quotes Max had before the last championship that he was with him with the Lakers in the 7th game was when he went out of the locker, he said, "Climb on my back, boys. I'm going to carry you the rest of the way." It was a great quote, and he did.
Good guy.
He's
Good
a great
attitude.
guy. We miss him around here.
Okay. Thanks, Robert.
Good sportscast. Thank Bob. Coming up on our evening edition, a falling dollar does not deter Wall Street from a healthy rebound today.
And in Texas, 18-month-old Jessica McClure gets a hometown parade to keep her thoughts high during recovery. Stay tuned. You can have it.
Also, Dave will show us the weather all across the country. Stay tuned. More on tonight's top story. The Nuclear Regulatory Commission clears a major stumbling block for the Seabrook nuclear power plant, approving a rules change regarding evacuation plans. In a unanimous vote, a 5-0 vote today, the NRC ruled that utilities can submit evacuation plans without the cooperation of local government. Shannon and Governor Dukakis are promising to challenge the rule change in court.
There is another nuclear power story developing this evening. The NRC holds hearings tonight on plans to restart the Pilgrim nuclear power plant in Plymouth. Now, that meeting is expected to attract many residents who are strongly opposed to the restart-up. We'll have details of that meeting on Nightcast at 11. Also tonight, Casey Kaufman will report on a debate between at-large city council candidates in Boston, the last debate before next Tuesday's election. So there'll be lots of things coming up. Tonight, I know one thing is Sports Spotlight.
Always great on a Thursday. Let's get an update from Bob right now.
Well, of course, the Bruins and the Nordiques tonight in the Sports Spotlight to knock your socks off. And, of course, the revelry around town with Jack's birthday will be never-ending tonight. The people will be dancing in the streets. I mean, this will set the town. I know the riot control squad is out even as we speak.
Right. They're out. They're out. All to celebrate for you, Jack.
Well, isn't that nice?
29 again.
29 again. And on that, we're going to show you one more time a nice event today. This is the the Custom House Tower.
The lighting, the first time in its 72-year history.
That's it. That's our news tonight. And from all of us here, hope you have a fun and a good time on Halloween.
And a safe time as well. And have a good night tonight, everybody.
Good night.